What if I told you that in a world where demons are at a constant war with humans, the hatred of demons towards humans is immense? Their bloodlust and hunger for power drive them to kill humans without a second thought. The demons here are ruled by a demon lord, who has their own army to dominate the world. Coming back to our main character, Ike is the protagonist of our story. He is the commander of the Demon Lord's Army's 7th Corps, the Undying Brigade. Right now, the Demon Lord's 7th Brigade is invading the city of Arsenum. Breaching inside the castle, Ike encounters the human army's commander. He gives the commander 3 options: surrender and turn over their territories, flee while Ike admires the fearful scene, or lastly, kill himself. The commander chooses none and foolishly charges with his sword at Ike. Then Ike stops him with ease and doesn't even kill him. He orders his subordinate to heal him and others outside the castle. Our main character Ike is actually a human, not a demon. Flashback to a time when Ike's master Rombird took Ike in on a whim, taking care of him even though he knew Ike was a human. Rombird was the greatest demon magician known in the history of demons. He also knew about the secrets of the previous advanced civilization that once lived in this world. In Rombird's dying moments, he told Ike to never talk about the lost civilization as it may bring disaster to the current era. Ike also remembers his master's most important words: never take off your mask and robe. If your identity is revealed, the Demon Lord will never forgive you. Soon after all of these, Ike goes into the office of the castle and casts a barrier magic. Without warning, he sees a little brat hiding under the table. Being surprised, he jumps out of the chair. The little brat comes out and begs him not to kill her. While doing that, she bangs her head on the table and becomes unconscious. Seeing this, he is disappointed by the fact that he let his identity be revealed, a secret he's been keeping for the last 20 years. Soon after, he is called by his subordinate to do the aftermath of the invasion. His subordinate wants Ike to kill all the humans, but Ike has other plans. Ike explains the current Demon Lord is only interested in results and potential. Arsenum is a trading city, and he plans to make the humans pay taxes. If the humans die, then who is going to pay the taxes, he says. Following this, Ike encounters the remaining survivors of the city. One of the humans wishes to talk to Ike and asks how much tax to pay to the Demon Lord. Ike replies the same amount they always did. Rejoicing, Ike says if the humans deny the Demon Lord, they will be punished accordingly. Incidentally, he gets teleported to a dark cave, encountering a giant stone golem. Fighting it with ease, Ike shouts for the commander to show themselves. Then Ike defeats the giant stone golem. A witch in a purple robe comes out smirking, saying she was confident in the golem. Ike, annoyed, says to stop it. Commander Saikyou. Yes, the witch is the commander of the Demon Lord's 7th Brigade, teasing Ike with some monsters. Saikyou is also the only one who knows Ike's secrets and supports him. Ike says he was thinking of making a report, but Saikyou already saw all of Ike's work through her familiars. Then Ike asks why she summoned him. Grinning, Saikyou says the Demon Lord wishes to see Ike for his excellent work. Saikyou tells Ike to put his hand on her hand, so he does. Cunningly, she says she was expecting Ike to put his hand on her breasts. Meanwhile, the little brat finally gains consciousness. Waking up, she sees a note on the table but couldn't read it. She also sees some food on the plate. Biting into one, she starts eating all of them vigorously. At the same time, Ike and Saikyou are teleported in front of the Demon Lord's castle. Ike sees some guards in front of the door and asks Saikyou how to avoid revealing his identity during the check. Saikyou says to leave it to her. At the gate, Saikyou casts an aura spell on Ike, introducing him to the guards and letting them know he is the grandson of the legendary Mage Rombird. Thankfully, Saikyou and Ike avoid any suspicion. Walking towards the throne room, Ike wonders how Saikyou can float in the air with ease. Ike can use fly magic too, but has trouble controlling it. Then they reach the throne room. Saikyou asks to wait while she goes to inform the Demon Lord about Ike's arrival. While waiting, Ike thinks about the Demon Lord, how powerful and wise he is, how he started the war against humans, and gave demons the upper hand. Rumors tell the Demon Lord is a cold and harsh person, but also suggest he puts demons to good use if they have potential. The current Demon Lord has revolutionized the demon army. It is Demon Lord Darakuten-sama who made all of this possible. Subsequently, inside the throne room, the Demon Lord says for Ike to enter. Both Sapphiro and Ike bow down to the Demon Lord as soon as they enter. The Demon Lord asks them to raise their heads. Looking up, Ike gasps as he sees the Demon Lord for the first time and realizes the Demon Lord is actually a girl. The Demon Lord praises Ike for his fantastic job. Nevertheless, Ike gives the credit to Sapphiro, making the Demon Lord say he acts almost like a human. Then Sapphiro introduces Ike as the grandson of the great Mage Romberg. The Demon Lord says that explains Ike's humility. The Demon Lord also says that's the reason he didn't kill anyone or the leader. There was almost no loss of life in the invasion of Arsena. Ike then regrets he should have acted like a demon and not risk revealing his identity. But he instantly realizes he is a human and his ultimate goal is to unite demons and humans. Ike then speaks to the Demon Lord, saying he did this to rule humans with dominance rather than with fear. This will only benefit the Demon Lord in the future as the humans will not retaliate. Then the Demon Lord asks if it was Romberg's idea, and Ike replies yes. Ike thinks the Demon Lord also might know about the lost civilization, as she used their knowledge to revolutionize the Demon Lord's army. As they reach the end of the meeting, the Demon Lord approaches Ike and compliments him for his different thinking from other demons. She also says she wishes to see Ike's real face under the mask. Ike gasps as the Demon Lord asks him to keep up his work and leaves the room. Relieved, Ike says he almost felt the Demon Lord knew he was a human. Smirking, Sapphiro says she never saw Ike so nervous, with Ike replying he may wear a scary mask, but at the end, he is a wimp. But at the end, the Demon Lord didn't realize Ike was a human, Sapphiro said. Sapphiro also said the Demon Lord gave Ike a reward, but she thinks rather than a reward, it's a punishment. Ike asks about the reward, and Sapphiro says Ike from now on will rule a city named Ivalius, located south of the city of Arsena. Sapphiro also says the city is important for maintaining the Demon Lord's army's front lines. Ike's mission is to protect that city and double its tax revenue. Ike, surprised, asks how to double it while the war is going on. Sapphiro cunningly says to Ike he can even triple it. As we move forward, Ike visits the city of Ivalius, where his subordinate congratulates him on becoming the ruler of this land. Conversely, Ike visits the office of the castle again to see the little brat sleeping on his chair. Waking her up, she instantly starts begging for her life again. Then Ike asks her name and gets to know she is Sati. He then tells her to become his maid, and she happily agrees. Fast forward, we see Ike working on the maintenance of the city, talking to his subordinate and asking how much time it may take to repair the walls. His subordinate replies about 6 months. Ike thinks it is too long as they need to advance. He orders the wall reparations to be finished within the month. Flabbergasted, his subordinate says it's impossible, but we know that Ike can make anything possible with his intellect. He explains the demons will help with the humans to finish the work as soon as possible. In the next shot, we see the humans and demons working together to rebuild the walls of the city. Meanwhile, Ike's subordinate Jerome thinks Ike's ability made humans and demons work together and split the shifts of working. Moving forward, we get to see a glimpse of Ike's incredible power as he destroys a giant boulder with no difficulty. Meanwhile, Jerome watches like a goofball. Going back to Ike's office, we see Sati serving some hot liquid to Ike. As the story progresses, we see Sati roaming around the city of Rosaria. She finds a suspicious guy playing ball cup tricks. The guy shuffles the cups and hides the ball in his sleeve. Sati chooses the cup in the middle, and the suspicious guy asks how much she will bet. Sati has nothing to give, so the guy stares at her breast in a Jesus way. And says even if she can't pay money, she can pay with something else. When the guy is about to pick up the cup, Sati uses wind magic and exposes the guy. The other people in the background start beating him up. Suddenly, Ike grabs Sati's shoulder and tells her not to roam without her master's permission. Busted, Sati says sorry. She then notices Ike is wearing a human uniform. Ike explains that since they are scouting the enemy kingdom, he cannot attract much attention. At the same time, we see the Kingdom Army's White Rose Knight commander, Alistair, summoned to the office, talking about retaking Ivalius. Back to where we left off, We see Ike scouting the enemy kingdom and observing the allied army's actions. Then, the suspicious guy and a bastard with him come again after Sati, but this time Sati is with Ike. Ike starts to interrogate these two bastards, threatening them with ice magic and asking about the kingdom's plan. Ike learns that Rosaria's army will attack Ivalia's for glory and fame before the allied army is formed. In the next scene, we see a sexy hot succubus entering Ike's office and approaching him like an angry wife. Ike explains that he found something interesting, but she avoids his words and asks who the little brat beside him is. Sati explains she is Ike-sama's personal maid. With an angry expression, the succubus says Ike is hers. They make eye contact like they are Ike's jealous girlfriends. After that, we see Rosaria's army making secret preparations for attacking Ivalia's. But little does the commander know that Smart Ike has already investigated their plans and set up a surprise trap. Just as they are about to fire, the traps are triggered, and the White Rose Knights are devastated. Their commander, Alistair, orders a shameful retreat. Jerome, seeing this, compliments Ike for his spying. Unexpectedly, an assassin behind Ike shoots an arrow through his back, and he becomes unconscious while Jerome searches for help like a fool. After a while, the Rosaria army's chief commander is furious and imprisons Alistair as a form of punishment. In the next scene, we see Ike lying beside Sapphiro in bed. Ike asks why she is sleeping with him, and Sapphiro, with a horny expression, replies why she can't when she saved his life. Ike looks with a gruff face. Ike then asks what happened. Sapphiro explains that when he was seeing Rosaria's men retreating, an arrow pierced his back. Of course, Sapphiro healed him, and no scar is left, but that arrow could have potentially killed Ike. Ike thanks Sapphiro. Sapphiro also said no humans were killed in this battle. She meant that if this keeps happening, the Demon Lord might get suspicious of Ike again. But Ike says he wants demons and humans to work together. Then Sapphiro leaves, and Ike starts investigating the arrow. Ike wonders if the assassin was sent by Rosaria or someone within their ranks. As he thinks, the sexy succubus and the jealous maid enter the room and start fighting over Ike again. But our boy Jerome comes in and kicks out the sexy succubus. Ike asks Jerome about the location of the White Rose Knight commander. Meanwhile, the sexy succubus bangs the door and insults Jerome. In the next scene, we see Ike in front of Rosaria's imperial prison, with the sexy succubus tagging along. We also get to know her name is Lilith. Ike says he didn't ask Lilith to come, but as we know, she ignores his words and starts teasing Ike in a horny way again. The sexy succubus starts yapping, and Ike tells her to shut up and tag along quietly, which she likes hearing. They reach the prison gate, and Ike wants to avoid fuss as much as possible. But Lilith, ignoring every word of Ike, goes to the gate and bonks the prison guards real hard. Inside, the prison is quite enormous. Without waiting, the sexy succubus bonks one of the prison guards and takes the key, getting information on which floor Alistair is on. Ike and Lilith are spotted by the prison guards again, and the sexy succubus says she will deal with the guards. Ike agrees and quickly goes to the top floor to find Commander Alistair. Upon entering the prison cell, the commander ambushes Ike with a knife, but thankfully our boy Ike isn't a usual clumsy MC. He dodges the attacks from the commander. Ike then hits Alistair to the floor but realizes he's being inappropriate. Alistair asks what the commander of the Demon Lord's army wants from her. Ike simply wants to know if Alistair sent the assassin after him. Alistair starts to doubt Ike's demon form. We see the guards rushing to Alistair's cell. Following that, Alistair tricks Ike and holds a knife to his throat. At that moment, Ike casts a mysterious spell that dulls Alistair's and the guard's senses. Ike peacefully knocks out the guards with a powerful wind spell. Suddenly, a knight in black armor jumps from above, catching Ike off guard. But Ike breaks the floor, making the Black Knight fall and saving himself at the last moment. Thus, he keeps his morale and saves his life too. Because of that spell, Alistair's floor breaks too, and when she is about to fall, Ike saves her. Then Ike introduces himself to Alistair. Alistair asks how he did it, but Ike avoids the question and answers her previous question about being human. Ike explains logically that he is a Demon Lord army's commander, so he couldn't possibly be a human. Ike again asks if Alistair sent assassins after him, but being a stubborn tsundere, Alistair refuses to answer. Ike then reads Alistair's mind in a questionable position. At the same time, the sexy succubus sees Ike and misunderstands them. She becomes jealous again and starts yapping unusually. Ike confirms Alistair doesn't know anything about the assassination and starts to leave. But Alistair interrupts and asks if he is going to leave already. Ike says he got to know what he needed. Alistair, surprised, says she didn't say anything. Ike says he used mind reading, which makes Alistair quite mad. Soon after, Ike reaches his office and brings out some rice he got from the farmers in Ivalius. Ike explains rice is easy to produce and doesn't require much labor like wheat. He also explains the different development sections they could tax from, but our Sati's little brain couldn't understand anything. Nevertheless, Ike asks Sati to cook the rice. But Sati doesn't know a thing about rice, and neither does Ike. In the end, Sati says she will try her best to cook it. Fast forward to the evening. Ike gathers their forces with Jeroen's help, as he knows the assassin is one of them in their army. Ike uses mind reading and finds out the imposter among them, which is a small gremlin. Ike returns to Sapphiro's home to report the imposter. We get to see her bathing in her bare body. Ike informs Sapphiro that he knows who the ringleader of the assassination attempt is. Sapphiro guesses it was Jace, the vice commander of their own army. To Ike's surprise, he continues by saying Jace is a highly talented and skilled warrior. Sapphiro says not to worry and gets up from her bath naked, making Ike blush. There's one thing that Ike and Sapphiro can do. Sapphiro's plan is to make them pay the price. Continuing, we see the bastard Jace and his servants talking about Ike wanting to see him. Jace's servant informs him they cannot get a hold of their spy in the Undying Brigade. Jace decides to gather all their forces and kill Ike at once. But little do they know, Ike is already here to punish their asses. Seeing Ike, Jace is devastated, but starts to calm himself by teasing Ike with his massive army about to kill him. We still don't know the reason why Jace wants to kill Ike, but we may know it later. Suddenly, a bombardment of fireballs starts shooting out of the sky. And guess what? It's our girl Sapphiro, destroying massive parts of the city and Jace's army. Ike is disappointed as he asks Sapphiro to keep the damage minimal. But anyway, Sapphiro orders her forces to start wiping out Jace's remaining soldiers. In a twisted fate, Jace suddenly encounters Ike. He sends the rest of his forces at Ike, buying time to escape. Jace opens a portal to the forest outside the city. But little did Jace know, Ike sent a familiar behind him, helping Ike to track him down. After a small fight against Jace, Ike ties him up. Jace acknowledges Ike's intellect and power. Jace tries to buy Ike and asks him to take down the Demon Lord's army with him. Jace also says the current Demon Lord doesn't allow them to kill humans, which is no fun at all. Jace asks if Ike will join forces with him, but we all know Ike refuses. Jace knew Ike would refuse, so he makes a surprise attack on Ike, which is worthless. Ike notices how Jace says us and them, so Ike guesses there are other people alongside Jace. Suddenly, Sapphiro appears and asks Ike to let her interrogate Jace because Ike's methods take too much time. Ike, of course, disagrees as Sapphiro's methods are unorthodox. While all of that is happening, Jace suddenly becomes pale and falls to the ground. Ike asks what Sapphiro did to Jace, but Sapphiro says she didn't do anything. Sapphiro looks at Jace and realizes it was his own allies who poisoned him to silence him. This act of betrayal makes Jace sell out his allies. Seeing Jace dying like that makes Ike pity him, which again makes him realize he still has a human heart. Ike and Sapphiro go to the Demon Lord's palace again to inform Demon Lord Darakuten-sama about the traitors in her army. Sapphiro informs her that the mastermind behind all of this is Bastio, the commander of the Demon Lord Army's 3rd Brigade. But with an unexpected twist, we get to see the man himself, Bastio, standing behind them, and Darakuten asks what he has to say about this. With this, the episode ends. What do you guys think will happen in the next episode? Write your thoughts down below in the comments section. I am RxFX Recaps, and thanks for watching this episode of my anime recaps.
あらあら、さようなら。